Hi everyone. Today we will be talking about one of the activities that we'll be doing this quarter, or rather one piece of it. One of the activities we'll be working on is looking at numbers and multiplication in various different cultures. One of which we're going to be doing is Mayan numbers. So we're going to go through some of the sort of basics behind the number system of Mayan numbers and also of some other number systems and various operations in them as well. And some of the ideas behind this are to sort of expose students to different ways of doing math, and also in some ways to show them that if they are doing their math in a different way that's still valid, then that's okay. They can keep doing math that way, right? So that there's more than one correct way to do math. And this is an example, an exploration of that idea. So we're going to be talking about Mayan numbers in this video in particular, and I've sort of pulled some images from the web. It's good to talk about the culture in general when you're using things from it, right? And so you can talk about where the Mayan region is located. I have sort of map here. It's in what is now sort of, southern Mexico, etc., in Guatemala. Some famous landmarks like the Chichen Itza right here. And also I've got some murals here, and you can actually see examples of Mayan numbers already in these murals. Like these right here, these are Mayan numbers, and you can kind of see them tucked away here. And so we'll figure out what these symbols mean and how to interpret them. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So this is a page from the student workbook. This is kind of what you'll be working on when you do your activities with the students. And it's left pretty blank. So let's kind of go over what the sort of rules are here. So number one, the dots here, the pebbles, the rocks, those have value 1. And the sticks or the logs, these things here, the logs, they have value 5. And the way the counting works is you have these tiers of boxes. And so in the first box down here, everything just gets counted once, right? So you get 1, 2, 3 pebbles and 2 logs. 2 logs they have a value of 5 each. So that gets you 10 total, plus the 3 pebbles gets you 13, right? Cool. But if you are in the top box, things get multiplied by 20, right? So up here, like this log has value 5, but when you go to add it into the bigger number you're trying to figure out what this represents, you need to multiply it by 20. And we'll go through the details of that in a sec. And if you want bigger and bigger numbers, you have to go up and up and up. And because of some rules, like you can have no more than 4 dots or 3 logs in a box, the idea is that if you're putting in more things in this box than would add up to over 20, then you need to move it up to the next level, and so on and so forth. So this will be 20. This box here will be 20 times 20, so 400, and so on and so forth. So there's like a cap to the amount of stuff you can put in each level, and if you need more stuff, you need to go up to the next level. Cool. That's a little confusing, but let's go ahead and get some practice in. So let's go ahead and try it. Let's try to interpret 16 and put it in here. So 16 is, let's find the number that's right above it. So it's between 1 and 20. So let's go ahead and focus on this box here. If I put anything in the 20 box, I'll need to multiply it by 20, and that'll be bigger than 16. So we don't want to do that. So 16, well, I think I can represent it as, let's see, a multiple of 5 plus something. So 15 plus 1. So I think I can do 3 logs. So if I put 3 in there, I get 1, 2, 3 logs. So 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 15. And then 1 stone is 16. Okay. This kind of thinking is maybe a little bit easier for us college students because we've done things like this before. But like this idea of, okay, we have 16, how do we break this up into logs and pebbles? That can be a little difficult. And I recommend like really you can draw out a log and put a 5 in it, and then put another log and put a 5 in it and say, okay, look, there are 10 here, right? Because you got 2 logs and each of them are 5, right? So you can do things like this and also use manipulatives. Think of different ways to explain this concept because it's not easy the first time you see it. Okay, What about 825? Okay, this one's a little trickier. So 825, we want to use these upper levels, right? We want to really take advantage of them. We don't want to use 8,000. That's way too big. Even if I put a single pebble in 8,000, I will get 8,000 out. That's way bigger than 825. So let's start off with the 400 level, and let's just use up as much of this as we can. So 825, well, I can put 400 into it twice. So it's a little like division, right? I could put 400 into it twice, and I would get out 800, and I'd be left with 25. So why don't we do that? Let's go ahead and do 400 times 2 taken out of it for 800. So that's going to go in here with my 2 pebbles. So let's color code this. So this here are these 2 pebbles I've put here, because they each have a value of 2. So 2 pebbles times the 400, that's the level they're in. Okay, and what are we left with? We're left with then 25. Okay, now this is a little bit easier to do. Well, I see a 20, so I can put a 20 into 25, so I'll put a single pebble. And when I do that, I have 20 times is the level times a single pebble. That gets me 20. Okay, cool. So this is that pebble there. And then what are we left with? Left with a 5. So I will put a log down here. And now it's good practice to double check and make sure that with this representation here that I've got, you can go back and you get actually 825 out. And actually, let's practice that, because that's a really good thing to do too. Given this representation, what the heck number is represented here? Okay, let's figure this out. So for the first one here, I have nothing in the 8,000 slot, so I'll just leave that blank. But I have 2 pebbles in the 400, so I have 400 as the level times the 2 pebbles. So the way this is going to work is going to be level times the number in that level plus level times the number in that level, and so on and so forth. That's kind of the rule here. So we have 400 times 2 pebbles that are in it, plus the next level is 20 times, and now there's something more complicated because we got pebbles and logs. We have 2 pebbles, so you could do 2 or 1 plus 1, and then we have a log, which is 5. Okay, and then plus the last level is a 1 times the log is 5. So let's go ahead and compute this out. This is going to be 800 plus 20 times 7, which I wish I knew what that was off the top of my head. Let me just compute it real quick. I think it's 140. And then plus 5, and then you add them all up, so we get 945, I believe. I don't think I made an arithmetic mistake, but this looks about right. So this looks like 945. So the tricky part is just remembering you need to do whatever the level number is times how much is in that level box. Right. Okay. Let's do one more. That's good practice. So we have 8,000 times just 1 in that level, plus 400 times just 1 in that level, plus 20 times, now there's 5 in that level because I have a log, plus 1 times 1, because I just have a single pebble. And you can add these all up and multiply them and double check on your own time. This video is already long, but I recommend go ahead and do extra practice, because this can be a little tricky the first time you do it, and think about ways to explain it.